we do in life echoes in eternity.
Yeah.
Hi, this is James Laid Out, and this is my guest Julian, natural competitor, teacher, friend, and I wanted to bring him on this show because he just competed, 2 weeks ago?
3 weeks ago, I believe.
3 weeks ago. He looked amazing, super shredded, super amazing work ethic, and I wanted to start him talking about, what got you into bodybuilding?
Man, I think what got me into bodybuilding, man, would be growing up as a chubby kid. Things that got me into bodybuilding, growing up a little bit on the chubby side. So I was always overweight as a kid. I think that was one thing that always got to me as a teenager, kind of being bullied. Here's an adult, I'm like, you know what, I got into in high school, and it was just lifting, not bodybuilding. And I don't know, I just started picking up the old Flex magazines. If you remember, I got a subscription to those to learn how to work out.
Oh, yeah.
And then when I saw that, I was like, man, what are you doing like that, you know? But of course, I didn't think I would be competing. But those were the first signs of.
So why do you think you were overweight when you were young?
I think I was overweight because it runs in my family. I think a lot of the people I was surrounded with were just runs in the family. They were overweight. They were athletic because my uncle, he was like my father. He was athletic through his high school years, but also I don't think anyone had any guidance on how to eat. So I think as a child, I just kind of followed their eating whatever as a kid.
So it wasn't more of genetics, it was just more of just how you were raised. Because I think a lot of El Pasoans and a lot of people in El Paso believe it's a genetic thing.
Right.
And now you can't say it's genetic.
Right.
Because you had to work hard, but I think when people say it's genetic, it gives them that room to say they can't do anything. I think it unempowers them. And I think for El Paso and a lot of people struggling to lose weight, we have to go past it.
Right.
You have genetic factors that may not help you, but you can overcome it.
Yeah.
And I think
you're correct.
We need to be our body can do so much. It may not be easy, and sometimes, I think in Hispanic culture especially, it's a chubby baby is a healthy baby.
Right.
But as now society and the increase of diabetes and children's diabetes is chubby baby isn't a healthy baby because the food just is so bad right now.
Right.
I think the food you look at the breakfasts that kids eat now and the breakfasts people ate when we were young.
Right.
It's different.
Right.
And when we were young, we had breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and now what do the kids eat? Because you're a teacher.
Right. I am a teacher, so I don't know, man. When the kids eat for breakfast, it's school related, so the school provides their breakfast. Even as a school, I've noticed that when they bring in the breakfast, the classroom, they do bring them something. Some days it's a burrito, but some days it'll be a cookie and it has a bunch of sugar in it. They try to keep it as healthy as possible, but I noticed it's, but come lunchtime, the kids, they bring their own lunch, and they have their own snacks, and of course papitas, Cheetos, Takis, candy, and they don't just bring a small bag. They bring the big family bag, for themselves, and they share with others. But towards the end of the school year, our admin cut that off. They didn't let the kids, but they're loaded with sugar and Cheetos. It's what their diet consumes of, and these kids, they don't care. They'll just go ahead and consume all that without really knowing the knowledge of.
Well, I think it's just then the parents live that way, and then it's just this. You do what your parents do. If your parents are smokers, you're going to be a smoker.
Yeah.
If your parents don't work out, you're probably not going to work out. It's really hard to be that first in that generation to change, and that's amazing that you've changed.
Right.
I think now it's a little easier when it comes to knowledge. When back then it was kind of unfair to them because they had the food guide pyramid.
Yeah.
So the food guide pyramid, I think messed up so many Hispanics.
That's right.
Telling people to eat carbs 6 to 8 times a day. Yeah. That's why we're having so many problems today.
Right.
And we don't see. Carbs aren't bad, but they need to be done in moderation.
I agree with you.
So who is your idol when it comes to bodybuilding?
Competitor-wise?
Yeah.
I have a lot of inspirations from bodybuilding competitors from the past. I'm stuck in the 90s, 80s era, but I follow a lot, of course, Ronnie Coleman. One of my favorites, because I'm not the tallest guy, but Lee Priest is one of my favorites competitors of all time, man. He's a short, stocky dude, and people I look up to, of course, that's on another level pro, but it's good to see those motivational videos that I guess all of us that compete, we watch those motivation videos that when we're down on those days, we don't feel like getting up, we have to have some kind of motivation from these guys, right? So those are some of the people that I look up to. Like the 90s.
Well, and I think the 90s, 80s bodybuilders, they weren't. I think now I mean, you can easily find people's stacks, and the 90s to 80s bodybuilders, they basically did a lot of the minimal stuff. Like, I mean, Ronnie Coleman said for the longest time he was natural. I mean, I don't know if he was. I mean, obviously he said later on that he became unnatural, but I mean, you see pictures when he's young. He was a monster.
He was a power lifter too.
Yeah, and then Lee Priest was a badass at 18. Mm-hmm. So, like, these people, I mean, they showed that you don't need crazy amount of drugs to get to reach their potential. And I mean, these are the best. And I just think that, like, that's cool that you like those kind of bodybuilders, because I think now the bodybuilders of the day, and if you've heard of people's stacks, you're like, oh my gosh, like they're just kind of like doing everything underneath the sun, and it doesn't work. Yes, but they kind of don't have that same shape.
Yeah, that same look.
Their waist is bigger.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the older generations as well. I have respect for the newer generations, but it just seems like it's more size and like. But Sebum, I feel is bringing that back.
Yeah, I think the classic is bringing that look back for bodybuilding. But you're right, some of the newer bodybuilders, stomachs are out. I guess the trend of bodybuilding back then, they used to show bodybuilding on ESPN, get the attention as now. So I think bodybuilding freakier or disgusting, like that's what people want to get the attention.
But I mean, also like great example is Sebum. Like everyone knows Sebum's name, but like the top bodybuilders, they don't know him as much.
Yeah.
So I think in a way I guess the audience is going more towards that classic look, and also like when Sebum promotes something, he's a really good sponsor. He could be like, I'll buy these rocks, and you'd have so many guys. I mean, a great example is the Sebum haircut. Yeah. You see that in every gym. Like, that is a popular haircut.
Of course, and then all his supplements, pre-workout now.
Yeah.
Everyone follows that trend, and you're right. For a lot of people that don't even follow bodybuilding, they know. So
in bodybuilding, it's basically known. Most people, 90% of the people are unnatural, They're taking some kind of PED. They may compete natural, but, they usually get on and off compounds.
Right.
Now, how do you do your training, PEDs?
So I'm completely natural. I consider myself natural. We were just talking about it. I mean, I do take creatine, glutamine, but I don't take any other type of support or any anabolics. I consider those aids, or I guess natural. A personal choice for myself, longevity, and I always have that, should I go unnatural thought in my head. A lot of people ask me, why don't you go and start a cycle or some sort, and I'm not saying that I'm not going to, but for right now, I think a lot of people mistake where they don't max out as much as they can. Everyone wants to jump on a cycle right away and see like results immediately, and I've chosen another direction where I kind of want to max out what I can do naturally, and maybe here, and I'm almost going to be 30, so I believe it'll be for me if I would make the choice go unnatural, but I want to see what I can do on a natural level, and I think a lot of aren't willing to do that and kind of max out their, everyone wants to see results and max out everything that I can before I step.
Yeah, I think, sometimes the mind is more powerful, and I think some people take stuff and it doesn't really do anything, and then I think another thing when it's being natural, unnatural, you're buying things from if you're unnatural, you're buying things from an underground lab. So are you even taking what the bottle is saying? Sometimes it's just a placebo effect, and I think and I think that's really great that you've chosen and to do that the natural way, and I think even it's so hard to be natural in bodybuilding, and I think a lot of people say they're natural, but I don't they'll be like, oh, but they'll take peptides, and you don't take peptides, you've never done a shot of testosterone.
Never.
And which I mean, that's incredible because you competed, and the amount of definition that you have, when you compete, and when I saw you, I was like, man, I look fat as hell. But I was like, man, this guy makes me look like shit. And I was like, I'm glad I'm not going against him because you're really defined. And then also I like how well you pose. And I think with you max out not just your lifting, you max out your posing, and then your off season I really like because you really don't. The other day I asked you if you weren't gonna eat lasagna because of the cheese, and I was just like, man, I don't care if I mess up my stomach, I'm gonna eat lasagna. Like I'd been like whatever.
Yeah.
And it seems like you diet year round, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
And you do cardio year round, right?
Year round, yeah.
And I mean, you really don't. I think the reason that's made you so successful is you don't stop.
Yeah.
Like I think you're like it's 3 weeks out. And how much weight have you gained?
I probably gained like.
Okay.
Yeah, that's not a lot. I know.
So I mean, most people gain 7 pounds the night of, and that's because they.
Yeah, a lot of water.
Or I mean, they deplete
food.
And so for you to maintain that weight, that it means that that next year you're gonna be. Oh, wait, plans for next year?
I don't have any plans right now. Not sure if I'm gonna do the following year. You know, I kind of since I'm done with the show, I don't like to think about it. But for most of the year, just because I am a teacher and it's a lot of on my plate. This year was kind of hard because I'm a 3rd grade teacher, so I have students that take. So towards the end of the prep, it's a lot of stress outside of just bodybuilding or stress at work as well. So I don't like to think about like, oh, am I gonna come soon? I just kind of, right now I'm kind of getting back into the gym. This is probably like my really lifting and just want to get strong again, you know, that's like stronger lifts. So right now I'm just easing my way back in.
Well, and I think your recovery and all that stuff, like, because you're still doing cardio, right?
Right.
And I think that's also helping you in your recovery. Mm-hmm. And then the way you even time it. And another thing is, I think a lot of people don't realize is your sleep is perfect.
Yeah, for the most part, I would say yeah. I still do cardio right now. I'm actually still doing an hour.
Why are you doing an hour?
Just because I don't know. I think it's fun, man. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I still do an hour of cardio right now, and I'm like 3-4 weeks post show, and I just wake up in the morning. I'm on summer vacation, right? And I'm still waking up at 5:30 just because I like to wake up early. Because when I wake up for work, like when I'm teaching, I wake up at 4 a.m., 4:30. I have to wake up, and just because I like to still doing an hour of cardio, just enjoy it. I like to do it, man. It's just who I am, you know.
And I think like it goes down to like bodybuilders. It's kind of like almost like church.
Yeah.
Like a spiritual thing where you're just like that mind muscle connection. I think that's why some bodybuilders are so successful. It's that mind muscle connection. It's just like almost enjoying the movement.
Right.
Like I think like our bodies are gifts, and you know what? Like it is a gift to walk. It is a gift to be tired. You know, like I mean it's just the way your body, like when you're sick and you lay in bed, you just look almost like your body's like. Doesn't like it, you almost go into depression, you get sad,
right.
And it's just like I went through a crazy depression when I had my knee surgery because I couldn't walk for like 12 weeks.
Right.
But I think people don't realize how much of a mental benefit working out is. So your coach is Lo, correct?
Lorenzo Hernandez.
And he's been coaching. He's pretty big in the fitness community. I've noticed he's really good at cutting people up. So why did you pick Lo?
Man, so I've been working with Lo since 2000. To be honest, it all started with actually went through a breakup. It was back 2008. I was going to UTEP, so me and a friend kind of made a bet to lose weight because I kind of had gained a lot of weight. So I got up to like, I was like the sloppiest for my height, 5'6". That's kind of like on the bigger side, right? So I actually cut myself. I cut myself in weight. I went down to 160 on my own, kind of like I got abs by myself, and then I said, you know what, I can get abs and compete, you know? So I said, I'm gonna bulk myself up, and I'm gonna do a prep, and I'm gonna find a coach. So I kind of just linked up with Lo on Instagram, and we started working from there, and then I hit my first prep in 2000 and competed here in the other side. Those were my first as a bodybuilding, and Lo got me pretty, and we've been working ever since. So I think he kind of knows my body, but I think also there's moments where I think that just an expert on what he knows how to with a diet shines with.
Yeah, I mean I've seen from other coaches, and then the great thing is with him is he lives it. I don't think he would ask you to do anything that he hasn't done.
Right.
You know, and I think his clients are like with him for a long time.
Yeah.
And I think that's a true test of a good coach.
Right.
A good coach keeps their clients. There's a couple coaches in El Paso, and they're popping out a lot of competitors, but they don't keep their competitors. And yeah, they might win here and there, but did they win because that person had good genetic talent and competed, or because they did win because they did a novice and no one was in that category? But with Lo, it's like he keeps them and you keep progressing. And I've seen you progress, and I'm like, you've done really well. And like when I saw you 4 weeks out, you looked ready already at 4 weeks out, but you looked 4 weeks out. And that's why I was like, this guy is ready.
Yeah.
This guy's gonna make something of himself, because the amount of dedication. And then, I mean, this is off topic, but I love how well you are with your family. You know, like, and I think maybe that that gives you strength to do some of these hard things. You'd be like, no, I gotta go see my dad. I gotta go see my mom. And I was like, dude, you look like you're gonna pass out. And you still made time for the small stuff. And I think that's very motivational when it comes to these people that just can't work out the 5 days to get healthy, you know. And it's like, you're prepping for a show, working a full-time job. You barely moved in with your girlfriend, and you're juggling all these things. And if I was just to cut one part of that, you excel at each part of those things. You're a good son, you're a good boyfriend, you know, you're working out, and you seem like a very excellent.
I appreciate that, man. And yeah, it gets tough because you're right. I do juggle a lot of different positions in my life right now. I mean, my girlfriend and I just moved out. My mom lives with who's mentally ill, and of course my dad lives separate. So on the weekend it's very busy because I go visit throughout the week. I still visit my mom. I spend time with my dogs, my girlfriend. So I'm always juggling all these different positions. So it's kind of hard. And I would have to cancel on you, like, hey, this day can we massage this day? You're a busy guy. I'm a busy guy. So there's different positions I have to juggle. But I mean, I try to get everything done and be good at everything. It doesn't work out, but I mean, I try my best because you're right. I do the roles and positions, and it's not easy, you know. And I think I just try my best to hit everything and try to get everyone's time. And also, when we compete, and my girlfriend always reminds me of this. She says, well, like, you're the one going through it, right? So we think about others. Say, okay, I feel miserable, but I can't eat what they eat. But we forget about those. We feel like I sometimes feel like a burden, you know, because like they know I can't eat the stuff they're eating, and they're like, well, there he comes, and we were gonna eat this, but like he can't. So I kind of feel like a burden, but I tell them, you know what, it's my decision. I'm not eating that stuff. So I tell my family or the people around me, my coworkers, like, y'all do what you do, you know, like, you guys, it's your life. Don't feel bad for me. I'm making on what if I want to feel miserable or whatever, you know, it's hard with people around you.
But also on the flip side, I think it's very motivational. But you have people reaching out for you for help. So you doing these things opens things up. So they ask you questions, like you're coaching a couple of your coworkers. You did a diet, and so I think it's because it's hard, but it's kind of like it helps people ask those questions. Mm-hmm. You know, if you weren't there, who would they get advice from?
Right. I agree. Yeah, I mean, I coach here. I actually some from work and also some guys from the gym, but not a lot. Just I know that I can't coach. I don't have the time on my plate. So if I'm gonna coach somebody or take on a lot of clients with my timing, I know that everything that I got, you know, all the attention. So I don't want to do that to somebody and say, well, I don't half-ass what I'm doing for them, you know. So I have like 2 or 3 guys that are very close to me at the gym that I help out, but I can't. I'm already a teacher, and that takes up a lot of time, you know. So I tell myself, you know, I'm not gonna take the clients because I want to give them with my time a lot of clients.
I think you have a really good work ethic. You're a positive role model, and I'm glad that I know a natural bodybuilder. You know, I really wanted to put Lo's name out there because I've seen how well he's done with you, and other clients, and he seems to live it, and he takes it very serious. I don't agree with everything he does, but I think he does keep himself educated. I wouldn't train that way, but I could send someone here. It's just my training style is just different. Yeah. And I'm just but thank you so much for coming. Also, one thing I wanted to go over before, do you do anything for what do you do for recovery?
For recovery, like I think what you said though is kind of like living it even in the off season, like an off season. Prep starts in an off season. That's what I think, you know, like as an off season, like, oh man, this is my time to go and party, maybe like stop eating correctly, you know, and just eating whatever I want. To me, that's not an off season. For me, it's food, you know, and get bigger, get stronger. So my style of training is a little bit different from Lowe's. You know, he doesn't take care of I do my own training. I've always done training. I just believe in progressive overload. Some people might not agree with my training. I've honestly for a very long time, but people might laugh at it, but I carry my own little logbook. So I log my lifts and I do the same movements every week, and I try to either add some weight into it or add some reps, you know, and I just keep doing the same thing over and over. There's a lot of guys that kind of different exercises every week, and I'm not like that. I mean, I like to do the same exercises, so that way I know that across the board there is some progress, you know. And like we were talking earlier, my style of training is a little more in the training, not really how much volume, because you have guys going in there doing 20, 30 sets for body part. Sometimes for quads, I only do like 8 work, and for me it's worked well these years, 8, 9 workings, and I'm talking about true work to failure, reaching a point where it's a strong weight, and I reach failure on them, and I move on to the next exercise.
And I think as a natural athlete, it's very important to not overtrain yourself.
Exactly.
And focus on recovery, because I think the people that are able to do 20 different exercises or work out at the gym for 2 to 3 hours, they're not natural. And so you can't, if you're trying, I think a lot of people look up to these unnatural athletes, and it's like, you can't be them unless, you know, you have to do what, you know, find someone that's doing what you're doing or what you're willing to. And I think it's really smart, and I really think that you motivate more people to be natural.
And that's where I was gonna get at too, because you're right. If I were to do my 20 sets for body part, I wouldn't be able to recover. So being smart in the gym for me is what kind of helps, you know. So I'm not sore for like 2-3 days after leg day. I'll be sore the next day, maybe the day after that. But then I'm after that, and also like you said, going to sleep early for me, getting my body work done with you or someone else, getting my sleep. I don't go out. I don't stay up late. I don't party. Recover on an everyday basis. Just living the same every day, doing the ins and out kind of my cardio. Things always help recover, but also doing some pre-warm up before I start lifting, you know, with a band or get the body primed ready for movements that I'm about to hit. Also working up to doing the movement pattern and not just let me careless.
And I think with you, it's that mind muscle connection. It really goes down to like the intensity. You know how hard you go, but you also know when to stop.
Right.
You know, and like you come to me and this is bothering you, and you're like, when something's bothering you, you let me know. You're like, hey, this hurts. So I think, you know, I really like how, you know, you progress, and I really hope that you pick a show and you keep going with it, and that way you can motivate others. And I think like, I like how your life doesn't stop, no matter when you're feeling like shit.
Yeah.
Because I give you amazing dedication, because when I see you 4 weeks out, I was like, oh my gosh, I would have been at home, and I would have been like, screw the massage.
Right.
But thank you so much for your time, and it's just great to see you. Any closing remarks, any tips for the people out there?
No, man, I appreciate you having me on. I mean, guys, it's a journey. You don't think that overnight we're gonna get results. Bodybuilding is not figuring out how to do. People want that magic pill or magic routine. There is no. Saying earlier, we try to copy other people, figuring it out on your own. Some of the advice that I don't know about the bodybuilding world. I appreciate you having me on.
Thank you so much, and I just love hanging out with you. It's just so motivational. Like when he sees me, I'm like, oh, I shouldn't eat so much ice cream. Oh, thank you.